A man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. Let me ask you something. Do you want to know the invisible force that's been quietly sabotaging you your entire life? It's not bad luck. It's not your circumstances. And it's not even the people around you. It's you. More specifically, it's you clinging to the illusion of control like your life depends on it. Think about it. You've spent years planning every little detail, obsessing over every possibility, bending over backwards to meet expectations, believing that if you could just get everything right, life would finally click into place. But let's cut through the noise for a second. Has it worked? That tension in your chest, the overthinking that never stops, the constant need for validation, those aren't signs of a life that's working. They're signs of a life that's trapped. A life where every decision is filtered through what will they think, where every action is weighed down by the fear of failing, where even your happiest moments get overshadowed by the thought that something might go wrong. And here's the cruel part. No one ever asked you to live like this. No one told you to trade your authenticity for approval. You did it willingly. You handed over your freedom in exchange for a false sense of certainty.
Michel de Montaigne, the 16th century philosopher, saw this trap centuries before modern psychology put a name to it. From his quiet tower, he noticed how people spent their lives tangled in worry, chained to the need for control, only to end up exhausted, disillusioned, and completely lost. Because here's the truth most of us don't want to admit. The more you try to control, the less control you actually have. The more you grip onto certainty, the faster life slips through your fingers. And the more you let fear decide for you, the further you drift from the one thing that actually brings peace: letting go. So here's the question. What changes when you finally release that suffocating grip on control? Before you answer, ask yourself something even harder. How much of my life is truly mine, and how much of it is just a performance for others? Because the moment you stop performing, the moment you stop living for an audience, that's when you start actually living. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Everything you're afraid of losing was never really yours in the first place. The approval you chase, the security you cling to, the image you try to protect, all of it borrowed, all of it shaped by what other people expect of you. You've spent years molding yourself into a version of success that wasn't even designed by you. And in doing so, you've trapped yourself, not because of outside forces, but because of your own refusal to let go.
Montaigne saw it clearly. People aren't suffering because of their circumstances, but because of their resistance to them. And the harder they tried to control life, the more they suffered. The more they feared uncertainty, the more chaotic their minds became. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to control everything is the moment things start falling into place. Why? Because control is an illusion. You can't control what people think of you. You can't control every outcome. You can't force life to unfold according to your plan. But you can control how you respond to it. You can let go of the need to predict every moment. You can stop believing that things have to be a certain way for you to be happy. You can break the cycle of exhausting overthinking and simply be. And this isn't passivity. It's not weakness. It's power. Because the people who truly own their lives aren't the ones who control everything. They're the ones who trust themselves to navigate whatever comes next. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. Letting go means embracing something that most people run from: uncertainty. And that terrifies you, doesn't it? The idea of stepping into the unknown without a safety net. The fear that if you loosen your grip, everything will spiral out of control.
But what if the opposite happened? What if by releasing the need to control, you finally found peace? What if by stepping into uncertainty, you actually discovered who you are? That's the uncomfortable but liberating truth Montaigne whispered from his tower centuries ago. And it's the same truth that's still here waiting for you to face it today. Are you ready to let go? Or will you keep clinging to control that was never real in the first place?
You've been told your whole life that success will bring you happiness, that if you work hard enough, build the right life, achieve the right things, you'll finally feel at peace. But let me ask you something. If that were true, why do so many successful people feel empty? Montaigne saw this centuries ago. He watched kings, philosophers, and scholars dedicate their lives to climbing a ladder, only to find it led nowhere. They gained wealth, status, and recognition, yet they stayed restless, haunted by the fear of losing it all. Their success became a prison, not a liberation. And the same thing happens today. You chase promotions, you chase social validation, you chase relationships that look good on the outside but feel hollow inside. You measure your worth by achievements that give you a quick hit of satisfaction, but never the lasting peace you're really craving. You convince yourself that just one more goal will make you feel complete, but deep down, you already know the truth. It never does. So, what went wrong? The problem isn't ambition. Ambition is natural. It's human. The problem is why you're ambitious. If your goals are built on a foundation of fear, fear of being inadequate, fear of disappointing others, fear of failure, then no amount of success will ever be enough. It won't silence that voice in your head whispering, "You're still not there yet."
Montaigne offered a radical alternative: detachment. Not detachment from effort, not giving up, but detachment from the belief that external achievements define you. He believed true success isn't about what you accomplish, it's about how you live. Are you aligned with your values? Are you pursuing what truly fulfills you, or just what looks good to other people? Do you own your life, or are you still living for someone else's approval? Detachment doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop believing that happiness will only come when you make it. It means realizing that peace is something you build inside yourself, no matter what's going on outside of you. And when you stop chasing that illusion of success, something incredible happens. You stop playing by rules you never agreed to. You stop feeling the pressure to constantly prove yourself. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. And here's the best part. Life actually starts working in your favor. When you detach from the fear of failure, you take bolder risks. When you stop obsessing over outcomes, you open yourself to opportunities you never saw coming. When you stop seeking validation, the right people and experiences start finding you. That's the paradox. The less you need success, the more naturally it comes to you. But there's another question most people avoid. What happens when you finally let go of the illusion? Who are you without it? Imagine for a moment. Everything you've built, your achievements, your reputation, your carefully crafted identity, suddenly disappears. Who would you be then? That's the moment that terrifies people, because they realize their entire sense of self has been built on external expectations. They've spent years, maybe decades, constructing a version of themselves that's designed to be liked
respected and accepted, but not real. Montaigne saw through that illusion too. He understood that most people wear masks, not out of malice, but out of fear. The fear of being truly seen and rejected. The fear of admitting they don't have it all figured out. The fear of standing alone. But here's the thing. The longer you wear the mask, the harder it becomes to take off. The more you shape yourself to fit into the world, the less you recognize your own reflection. And at some point, you forget which parts of you are real and which parts you just made up to survive.
So, what happens when you finally let go? At first, it feels like free-falling, like standing in front of a mirror and seeing a stranger staring back at you. The identity you've been holding on to, the one you've spent your life protecting, starts to dissolve. And for the first time, you're forced to ask yourself, who am I really? This is the moment most people avoid at all costs. It's why they keep themselves busy. It's why they fill their lives with noise, work, relationships, distractions. Because the silence of truly confronting yourself, that's terrifying. But Montaigne knew something that's easy to forget. That silence is where true freedom begins. When you stop defining yourself by your job, your social role, your past mistakes, you give yourself permission to explore. You realize you're not a fixed character in someone else's story. You are the author. And that means you can rewrite yourself at any moment. Of course, this isn't easy. The moment you start to change, people will notice, and not everyone will like it. Some will question you. Some will try to pull you back into your old identity. Some might even feel betrayed because your growth forces them to confront their own illusions.
But that's the price of freedom. When you stop performing, when you stop living for approval, when you stop clinging to an identity that no longer serves you, something profound happens. Life gets lighter, more effortless, more real, because you're no longer carrying the weight of who you're supposed to be. You're just being. And the irony is, when you stop trying so hard to fit in, you actually start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences. Not because you were chasing them, but because you finally made space for them. So what will you choose? If this resonates with you, take a second to reflect. Not on what you should do next, not on what other people expect from you, but on what feels true. For me, I choose to let go, because this isn't the end of something. It's the beginning of something real. Like this video if it made you pause and think. Subscribe if you want more conversations like this. And if you'd like to support the channel, check the link in the description. Cheers!